Hello guys, welcome to the new video. In the previous video, we discussed about the MVVM architecture. In that video, we took one example of TODO app and created some demo package structure that how we can implement the TODO application using MVVM in our Android. I hope you have watched that my MVVM video. If you have not, please watch it and listen back to this video. I'm adding the video link in the description. So even we have the MVVM architecture, so then why we need the clean architecture? What are the drawbacks of that particular architecture so that we are switching to the clean architecture? So let us discuss those things first. If you are writing application related things from last more than 7 years, then you have also heard the terms like the MVP or MVC. The reason why we came to the MVVM was, the main thing was our controllers or the presenters were becoming the large, messy, the code was not testable, right? These were the reasons why we switched to the MVVM architecture. But again, the same things are happening. We introduced the view model. Yes, we introduced the view model for the main reason to handle states, right? Our main reason to use the view model was to deal with the state, right? Holding the states, giving data back to the UI, dealing with the config changes, right? But again, by handling the states, it also deals with some business logic, some business rules, right? It directly calls to the repos, right? It also handles the user actions, right? In some cases, it may deal with the validations. It may also deal with the validations, right? So if one class is doing this kind of functionality, is handling this much of the responsibility, then what happens is that class becomes messy, right? The first thing and first drawback is the class becomes messy, or you can also call it as a god class, right? This class is not more testable. If someone says, if I write test case for this much complex view model, it will never happen. And if we have this kind of view models in our application, it directly affects the performance, right? It will affect to the performance, it will create the bugs, so we have to deal with those things too. So in some cases, the MVVM architecture may be useful, okay, may be useful when your app is small, right? Your app is small, your business requirement is not too complex, right? For example, in our case, we just want to create a TODO app which deals with creation and deletion and updating status of the TODOs. So in this case, yeah, MVVM is okay, fine. But suppose if requirement changes, for example, one requirement is key, we want to make some rewards to the user if user is daily making the streaks, or if user creates some count will be there. For example, suppose if user creates the 5 TODOs in a week or 10 TODOs in a week, we will be rewarding some points to the user, right? Suppose we want to show some chart or graphical representation to the user by showing the created versus completed TODOs. So when these kind of requirements will come, the view model will become complex, right? And the main important thing will be, it will be handling the more of business logic, right? So our reason to add view model was to deal with the states, but now it is dealing with morely with business logic, right? So this will directly affect to your app performance. This is the reason why we switched to the clean architecture, right? Not only clean, we switch with MVVM plus clean, okay? So if you look at the MVVM, it is mostly deals with the presentation, like handling the states, dealing with the configuration changes. It is the view model is handle these things very greatly, okay? So why we use the clean architecture now? By clean architecture, I want to make the first thing is what I want to make first thing, separations of layer. Separation of layers. I want to achieve this first thing, separation of layers. Okay, I will explain these things. The second thing, I want to make sure everything, every class handles or deals with its purpose, its responsibility. So I want to follow the single responsibility principle here. Okay, single responsibility principle. So for example, when I say the view model will only deal with the states, it is following the single responsibility principle here. But when I add some code like if the user has this kind of name, or if user has put this kind of title in to-do, show some error or navigate to some other screen, this is my business requirement, right? This is not the dealing with the states. So here my SRP is violated. So I do not want to make this kind of things in my code, right? So only you follow these two things in your daily coding, you will definitely make your code readable, clean and testable. Next thing, I want to make sure SODIL principles are followed, right? Hope you know the SOLID. The S stands for the single responsibility principle, okay? So hope at least the basics of SOLID you know, and if you don't know what is SOLID, let me know, I will create video on that too. Okay, so let's discuss separation of layers, what I mean by this. So what I want to do is, I know my application, there will be some screens which will show the items and the user will deal with or interact with those kind of things, right? So first thing, my first layer will be the presentation layer. Okay, my presentation layer. So my presentation layer only consists my view. Okay, it will only consist of my views. If your application is Android application, it will have the activities, fragments, adapters, right? If your app is iOS app, it will have the controllers, some view classes, some sail classes, right? If your app is of web application, then it will have some JavaScript, UI related classes, HTML, CSS, all those kind of things, right? So this will be my presentation. Second thing, what I want to make sure is I want to add a domain layer, right? I want to add domain layer. So this is heart of your application. It will have my business logic, my business rules, right? How I want to save something, I want to create something, what should happen if user clicks on that, user do this kind of things. So here my business rules will be here. Here it will have the use cases to implement those business rules, and repository interfaces. It will have the repository interfaces to show or to indicate how the things will be implemented. Okay, and the next thing what I will do is the data layer. So my next layer will be the data layer. Okay, why I need data? I want to have some entities in my app, right? If I have to do, I will be creating some entities to save in my local database. I will be having my repo implementation. Basically my business rule implementations here. So this will be extending these interfaces. Okay, so my repository implementations will be dealing with my local or remote databases. Okay, remote means your server from where I have to fetch the data, or local from where I need to store, whether it is a cache, whether it is a local database, right? So by implementing clean architecture, I have to make these things happen in my application. Solid principles and separation of layers, right? Now here your view knows what the purpose of view. It is just for showing the data or dealing with the user actions. So this will be my layers. Now let us go back to our to-do example. Okay, so now just go back to our to-do example and how I can implement my to-do using the clean architecture. Okay, so first package I will be creating here. My first package will be the domain, my heart of application. This is my first package. It will have suppose use case package, and under that it will have first use case, suppose create to do use case. Okay, for example, next package will be suppose my repo package. It will have suppose my to do repo, and this will be the interface. Okay, so this will be the interface. My use case will have a constructor parameter repo, right? This repo. So my use case will implement the business logic by using the repository, and my repository knows from where I have to fetch data or store the data, right? So this will be my domain package. My domain will be core of my application. It will always deal with my business rules, business logic. Now the next package I will create it as a data package. Okay, so suppose my data will have the model or entity package, and it will have suppose my todo.kt file. So this will be my entity file, right? This will be the class which will be I am storing to my local database. Next I will have the repo package. Okay, and it will have my todo repo implementation, right? So this will extend this interface here. This todo repo will have multiple methods. For example, add todo, delete todo, right? And my add todo method implementation will decide from where I have to add this particular todo, or my delete method will here implemented and it will decide how I want to delete my todo, right? Suppose while creating the todo, I want to have some validations. So that validation now will be part of my use case, and it is my business requirement. For example, title length should not exceed 50 characters. So this is my business requirement. So I will create some kind of logic here by using some constant file. I will declare there one constant, say the title length, and I will use that constant in my todo create todo use case. So if in the future, suppose my requirement changes, now the owner of the app says, it should allow the 100 characters in the title. So I don't have to go to my create todo use case and change the value to 100. What I will do is I will go to my core constants file and I will change their variable title limit to 100, and my todo use case will work automatically as expected. So this is nothing but applying the solid principles. If we use the MVVM architecture in our previous example incorrectly, or in clean architecture also, if we use things incorrectly, then whenever the requirement changes, we need to change everything, or we need to change things at multiple places. When you are doing this, for a single requirement change, you are doing that change in multiple places, in multiple classes, it means you have not implemented the clean architecture correctly. Whenever there is a change, it should affect to the minimal places, it should affect to the minimum classes, right? So by following solid, you will achieve that. So this will be my data layer, okay? And the last package will be my presentation, okay? My presentation. It will have the UI package, it will have my activity, right? Activity and fragments. And I will create one more package inside the presentation, for example, view model, right? And my example, suppose create to do view model. Now this create to do view model will have one constructor parameter, use case, and many other things. Now whenever user clicks on a create button, my view model will call use case dot create or execute use case dot execute, right? Now my view model is not dealing with any business logic, right? As my business logic is handled by my use case, my view model will be only emitting the events and holding the states that are needed by the UI. So now my view model is clean, right? It is only dealing with the states. So this is how we use the clean architecture and we separate the things and follow the solid principles. Hope you guys understood why we are going or switching to the clean architecture, and hope you like this video. If you have liked this video, please let me know in the comments. If you think I need any improvements, please give some feedbacks. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you.